Hi, Jesse Pollard here. Today I want to talk to you about frog fishing. Up here we have one of the best frog fishing places in the world, and that is the Mississippi River, Pool 8 down in La Crosse. You got Pool 7, Pool 9, both great places. One of the things that I've learned in the past is sometimes these colors don't matter so much when they're sitting on top of a mat, but when you have a little bit of open water, they tend to matter a little bit. Sometimes contrast works. Bright sunny day, sometimes you want that darker color. Vice versa, if it's cloudy day, sometimes you want that white color or gray color on the bottom. There's, relatively speaking, about five colors that I choose. The gray bottom, the white bottom, black bottom, green pumpkin, and then that kind of reddish orange bottom that bass seem to go nuts over. So this is I use the Dean Rojas Spro Bonsai 65 frogs. Got the Amazon here. My other video I showed, but there is a couple modifications I do use. Sometimes I will cut these up, sometimes I just leave them. I will, as you can see this one, I do bend these hooks out. But sometimes it all depends on what they're eating. If they're on a shad, I'll throw white, gray. Another one that I got, let's see, up in here, with that like orange chip with that killer gill. Obviously you can see this guy's been blasted a lot. I also like to I gotta throw, well, this one's going away unless I find a weight for him. With the sexy shad with the white. So you got your green pumpkin. You can almost call this like a red, but it's more like a brown. With the dark black, with the black. Let's see what other colors. It's another black one, but with red in it. See, and then the new colors I got. I tend to, and I'll show you my setup here in a second. But towards the end of May, and then June, July, August, September, you can find yourself in frog heaven down there. This one I'm going to try to make it a play or two, depending on where we're at, what we're fishing. You got that nice sparkle on the bottom. That might help with the shad. But like, you got your variations of brown, black, or you want to call it green pumpkin. This sunfish has kind of got that orange bottom, orange yellow bottom. Then the hornet, black and yellow. I can't wait to get these and try these. Oh, this Wisconsin allergies are killing me. Can't wait till it actually warms up next week and stays warmed up. But here is my setup right now. I have actually tied on is River Sea Whopper Plopper on this guy. But this is a Enigma fishing rod. It's their Phenom series rod. It's a 7.3 heavy. It's rated for 3/8 ounce to 3/4 ounce lure, 12 to 25 pound line. I use this Daiwa Tatula 8-to-1 gear ratio. Then I pair that up with straight 50-pound braid Suffix 832 Advanced Superline. You know, as a co-angler and fishing in the back of the boat, when we're in frogging waters, frogging situations, and that's one of the reasons why sometimes I don't cut these tails off, is because I want to sit it in the zone a little longer, so it creates drag. You know, with this rod and reel and line combo, the slightest twitch, I can make that frog walk in the same spot. So a lot of times I want to try doing something different that the boater's not doing. He may be doing really fast twitches and reeling really fast, getting a reaction strike, where maybe I'm being a little bit more finesse and being more methodical of where I want that lure to be. And that's some of the things I do. Like I said, this killer gill pattern, you know, that is one of the best patterns that I've thrown. I can't wait to start throwing some of these other patterns. That Amazon guy is another one with that, where'd he go? You know, with orange and red colors to it. That's another great frog to throw. Wish I knew where I put it. Give me a second here. I'll pop one out here. You know, just like I said, that color just works wonders. I do, and I would love to get more, because I do want to start experimenting with added weights when we're in and around mats or around heavy lily pads, just to get that bait to sink just a little bit lower. Maybe I'll get to do that this year. And typically what I generally do is, when I'm learning a new technique or experimenting with baits like that, up in Birchwood, where we have our camper, there's a small lake that I go to that I know has fish that I know would be perfect for some of these lures here and experiment, because it's got the fish. So it gives me confidence to know that what I'm doing works if I'm catching fish. So that might be a great place where I experiment with. And that's typically what I like to do when I'm learning new techniques as well, is going to a place like that I know that has lots of fish, that I can experiment with a technique, or, you know, even if it's a technique that I know very well, different ways to retrieve that technique or that lure to maybe gain more reaction strikes. And generally that's what I like to do. When I got started into bass fishing, I bought a ton of Rapala lures, Husky Jerks, X-Raps, X-Rap Shads, the DT series, the Shad Wraps, the Skitter Walks, which I love. There's just a ton of Rapala lures I bought. We went on the Chippewa flowage, and I just started using some of these and wasn't catching anything, and I went to an Old Faithful and caught one of my biggest smallmouth bass I've ever caught. But, you know, watching videos and doing all that on YouTube, you can really get a false confidence in a technique or into a lure, because you see people using it and working it, but actually going out and knowing that there's a lot of fish in a small lake or in a pond that can help you really gain that confidence. You know, And then, like I said, I can't wait to start using some of these bladed baits. It's one of the things I just can't wait to do with these bladed frogs. Trying to think if there's any other frog things, frog logic, that I could spill on you. When I tie these lures, it's called it is the double Palomar knot. Some people, I've known to tie on other top waters the loop knot, which I may start going to that with the frogs, but I usually do a double Palomar knot, which is basically you're taking your line. I'll show you in just a second here. I'm not going to put this off, even though I should. I will later, because I'm cleaning up this week I'll be cleaning out my reels. Basically, you just take that end right here, and I'll show you here real quick. You take that, and you basically, what you're doing is you're just doubling that through the eyelet, and then tying your normal Palomar knot. Very strong knot. I've only lost 2 frogs. One frog I lost because I cut it off on the Mississippi River. I don't know if you guys have them around you. Some people call them dogfish, but they're bowfin. They're very similar to the snakehead. And that particular day, he went after my frog, and this is just to say I didn't have any pliers, and it was behind its teeth, so I cut the line and let it go. The other one, kind of same situation. I'm pretty sure it was a bowfin. It was actually the tournament that I won in 2018. First place we went to, I had caught a 3-pound bass on an edge of lily pads and mats, and we weren't getting any more bites on the edge. We weren't really getting bites, going into the mat a little bit. So with this setup that I got with the lines, poles, and reels, I can throw a really long ways. And I threw on the other side of the mat by the shore, and I had I'm assuming it was a bowfin. He exploded on it, and had him fight for a little bit. Line broke, and which is, pretty much saying that that's a toothy critter. So either a bowfin or a pike. One of the things that I do as a co-angler as well is when my boater is fishing the edge of mats, I'll throw on the other side of mats if I can, or in the middle of the mats. And like Gerald Swindle says, I've been doing this even before I saw the YouTube video where he said to use that pencil sharpener technique. I've always tried to get them into the boat as quickly as possible and out of those mats as fast as I can. Sometimes it doesn't happen, sometimes they get their heads down, but generally I like to keep them on top and bring them in. Like I said, some of these colors, on top, they're only going to matter in the open water. I also fish these. I don't even fish these just strictly around grass and mats. I'll throw them around timber. I'll throw them around rocks. Any kind of structure. I've been known to throw them around docks. It's, for me, I've learned, and I don't want to say perfected, because there's ways to throw lures that I haven't even tested yet. But sometimes pulling up to a place, it's just whatever I feel confident in. Especially if you're gonna go from grass and you got a couple docks, and then it's grass again, I might just keep the frog right in my hand. I know they're a big bass bait. Also, if you're ever on the Mississippi, you might even catch yourself a smallmouth bass on these. I've known to catch some bullhead frogs on these. And I didn't even know it was a frog until I caught him. But you know, he was just underneath the grass, following my lure all the way in, and he hit it. Thankfully, didn't really have to do much to get him on tag, but I think that's pretty much it. I mean, there's not a whole lot of, I mean, like Gerald, you'll hear in a lot of videos me bringing up Gerald Swindle's name a lot. You know, his YouTube channel I follow. I watch a lot of his videos. I watch a lot of his seminars that he does on YouTube, and you know, sometimes, like he says, you got to keep it simple, stupid, the KISS method, and that's generally what I like to do with colors, because you can get overwhelmed with colors. There's a lot of colors out there, and I did kind of get overwhelmed when I first got into frog fishing. I spent $150, $200 at Pro.com just buying all these frogs, and some of them I haven't even touched yet. Sometimes you just got to keep it simple. Go with your whites, grays, blacks, green pumpkins, brown, and then you're good. You know, just like I said, you can bend these hooks up a little bit. Sometimes you get those, you know, this one hasn't been bent. Well, it has. You can kind of see that they're a little bit away from the body there. This one's cut pretty short. Sometimes I'll even cut them this short, you know, when I'm out fishing and they're short striking a little bit. They're missing it. So I'll just cut them a little shorter so they can grab the bait. On the Mississippi, I've seen bass shoot the frog out of the water, and basically what they're doing is they're not really going after that. They're creating a hole for them to go get it. And sometimes, you know, if you jerk at that moment, you know, and shoot it back, sometimes he may bite again, sometimes he doesn't. I've noticed that on the Mississippi River with these bass with Froggin, they don't typically like to come back and strike again. I've had a few chances though where sometimes they have. But there you have it. If you want to ask questions, just comment below and I'll be happy to answer any comments. If you have any questions on frog fishing, just also, like I said, just comment and I'll answer. You know, there's gonna be a lot to frog fishing, and sometimes, like Gerald Swindle says, you gotta keep it simple. Alright, see you next time.